Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela, with our microphone getting adjusted over here. And we also have the commentary going on the right-hand side. Everything's looking good. How is everybody doing? We hope you're doing fine. This is your green card, your K1 visa channel. I give you all this free advice on how to process green cards, K1 visas, 2-year green cards, 10-year green cards, U.S. citizenship, everything, spousal visas, whatever you need to know, I've got the answer. I've got 12 years experience doing this. 12 years is a long time, but I'm not an immigration attorney, and I don't give you legal advice, and I don't work for USCIS. So that's a disclaimer out of the way. I mean, maybe I should work for USCIS, but I don't think so. Mountain Dew salutes will be with water with what's that vinegar called? It's got vinegar in here. I don't know what it's called, but it's vinegar, apple vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Karina remembers in English. It's apple cider vinegar. That strips the fat off your body, off your gut, especially after you eat, at nighttime and in the morning. So I'm on this apple cider vinegar binge. Let's see how it works. Now, I've been doing this YouTube channel for a long time, and I've helped so many people get their green cards and their K1 visas and their, even one person or two, I helped them get their U.S. citizenship. And I helped one person get his green card after it was denied. And I helped another person get the K1 visa approved when they didn't even have a passport. And I mean, I'm saving you all this money from immigration attorneys. So why you want to pay an immigration attorney all this money to do this process? It's not difficult. Filling out paperwork is not difficult. You fill out the paperwork. It takes a little bit of time. You got to make sure you're using the correct edition date. You can't be submitting papers that have expired. Don't do that. If you submit paperwork that's expired, then it's going to be rejected. That includes the medical exam, the $693. We got our Karina Ross Coffee Company t-shirts on, and Karina and I Karina's going to be selling roasted coffee and beans in 12-ounce packets. And only Colombian coffee, by the way. We're not selling any Brazilian coffee or Costa Rican. Only Colombian coffee, and we're only going to be selling Supremo, which is the top shelf, #1, the best, which is the beans. They're the larger beans. Excelsior coffee beans from Colombia are smaller than Supremo beans. And Supremo beans taste much better once they've been roasted. So for right now, we're going to be selling roasted and beans in 2 separate packets, 12 ounces apiece. And hopefully you learned something on this channel today regarding K1 visas and green cards. Do you have any questions? Because if you don't, tune into the channel, and I got other things I can do on a Saturday besides sitting here doing live streams. So make sure if you got questions, ask me questions, get the answers instead of paying an immigration attorney, instead of calling USCIS and tying up their phone lines. USCIS, they got better things to do than answer the phone when you could be learning this process right here on this YouTube channel. I uploaded 3 videos that were members only regarding Karina's adventures in Colombia, and it's 3 minutes past 6, October 11th, 2025. I'm using a brand new camera, the Facecam Pro, and I've got this Yeti microphone I'm using. That sounds to be pretty good. Seems to be working pretty good. And I got a fan here. I got apple cider vinegar, and I got the MAGA pixie dust ready to go for those folks that need the MAGA pixie dust. And we got a model of the airplane that Karina and I flew into Miami on Avianca Airlines from Colombia and Bogota. So there you have it. Lots of natural disasters happening around the world. In the Philippines, they're having earthquakes, which is not good. You got Bulgaria's flooding. the weather patterns, they change. It's natural. It's natural occurrences. It's normal. It's life. Earthquakes are created because of the plate tectonics. So if you're in the Philippines, we understand if you're having a rough week, and we wish you well. We hope everything works out and nobody gets hurt. We hope you don't have any more earthquakes. When I was in Colombia, they had earthquakes. Karina had an earthquake when she was in the apartment. The apartment was shaking in Bogota. There was like a little crack in the wall. When I flew back to Colombia, there was a crack in the wall. So we had to fix that. Earthquakes are no fun. In fact, in Guadalupe, where we went to visit in Bogota, there was this lady, Guadalupe. There's a church next to Guadalupe, the Lady of Guadalupe. And the church has been destroyed like 3 times. And every time an earthquake hits Bogota, the church gets destroyed, and then they rebuild it. You know, they've done that 3 times, I think, since the 1600s. So pretty interesting. I uploaded 3 videos today publicly showing Karina in Colombia working on a coffee farm, showing us in Colombia tasting different coffee. And there's a video I uploaded today where we fly to Cúcuta, Colombia, which is right next to Venezuela. And that's where the Colombian business in Colombia basically started, was in Cúcuta, Colombia. So I uploaded 3 videos. I edited them down, and hopefully you find them interesting. If you don't, let me know. If you like them, if you don't like them, let me know. But this channel is about K1 visas and green cards. It's not about coffee. But, you know, if you remember this channel, and we got a new member today signed up, so we want to welcome our new member. Let me get his name right here. He just signed up as a member, and I want to give him a shout out. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. I got to find out how to get on there, and we'll give him a shout out because we appreciate it when you guys sign up. I got to find the YouTube web. Here it is. And we're going to shout out to Corey Searles. Corey Searles. Let me write him down here. Corey Searles. We'll give him a shout out right here. If I can get this thing to work. There we go. New member, which is great. Whoop, it's Searles, Searls. So Corey, you got my phone number and Karina's phone number, our email address. And if you have any questions, you can text me or call me or send me an email if you want me to help you with your K1 visa or your green card application. I'm not sure where you're at in the process. You got to let me know. As soon as I know where you are in the process, then that's when I can step in and make sure you don't make any silly mistakes, which is going to cost you time and money, right? And mistakes now, processing green cards is going to cost you time and money. And more, some people are getting their green cards denied because they can't fill out a simple 864, which is the affidavit of support, which is probably the most important form in the 2-year green card application. Is the income. If you don't make enough money, that's okay. You got to have a joint sponsor. The joint sponsor has to fill out the 864 with you. So the sponsor fills out the 864, the joint sponsor fills out the 864. If the joint sponsor lives with you under the same roof, then the joint sponsor is going to fill out Form 864A. Okay? That's how it works. I was watching some YouTube channels today. I was watching these immigration attorneys. I watched some of their information. And the stuff they're putting out there is the stuff that I'm putting out for free. And then the first thing these immigration attorneys do is say, don't forget to text me for a consultation. How much does a consultation cost with an immigration attorney? I don't know. $400 for a phone call. For here, you can do it for free. Larry Piercy, here Moggy says, hi, Karina. Well, hey, Larry, and hello, Moggy. Now, Moggy's from Thailand, and we helped bring Moggy over to the United States with Larry. Larry did all the work, but we were helping Larry through the maze of immigration paperwork. So, today's Saturday, October 11th. October is gone by pretty darn quick. So those folks who have filed for K-1 visas, the process is speeding up. Don't be listening to those naysayers. Yeah, Larry Piercy, lawyers are so bogus. Well, filling out this paperwork is easy. It's not difficult, and it just takes patience. And I know it can be a little confusing, so I unconfuse the process. I've made it so a 10th grader can do this, okay? But people keep making the same mistakes, forgetting to sign the paperwork. One gentleman, he got his green card denied, so I saved his green card from being blocked. I saved it, and I told him how to fill out the paperwork. He's a member of the channel. I explained to him how to fill out the paperwork. He didn't sign the paperwork. Get in a big hurry, or you get frustrated, or you get confused, or you get, I understand it's you can't, but you got to be a cool head. You got to keep a cool head during this process. Larry Piercy, well, if you have ad, it is a little trying. Yeah, immigration attorneys, okay, they do a good job for the most part, but it's for lazy people or people with, or spouses with criminal records. If you have a criminal record, okay, then, or ADD, attention deficit disorder. If you have American citizen sponsor, if you have a criminal record, what I recommend you do if you're getting ready to file a K-1 visa is go to the courthouse, get complete certified copies of your courthouse record documents, your criminal documents, the records that you have, and set up a consultation with an immigration attorney and see if you qualify for the K-1 visa. But then the immigration attorney, you pay him a consultation fee. Then the immigration attorney is going to say, okay, well, if you pay me $4,000, I'll get you your K-1 visa filled out. Don't just pay the consultation fee, $200, $300. See if you qualify for the K-1 visa, and then you go home and fill out the paperwork by yourself. It's not difficult. I filed Karina's K-1 visa application by myself. We filed Karina's 2-year green card application together. She got her 2-year green card in just over 3 months. Now we're about 5.5 months away from filing for her 10-year green card. Not very much time left, and it goes by pretty darn quick. Soon it's going to be January and February of 2026, and the weather, I can't stand those 2 months because the weather sucks. It's cold, it's rainy, it's miserable. I mean, who likes that stuff? I mean, I guess unless you live in Alaska, and then it's like that all freaking year, right? Except maybe a couple of days in the summer. But once you get through the winter months, the insanity of the clocks falling back an hour is still, I still haven't figured out why the U.S. government permits that to happen. Why does the U.S. Congress allow the clocks to roll back 1 hour? What purpose does that serve except screwing up everybody's algorithms in their brain when they then they lose an hour of sleep, and then they're dragging their feet when they're trying to work, or they're trying to fill out their K-1 visa application and they're half asleep for a week. It's totally ridiculous, rolling back the time and then springing forward like the Congress is like rewarding everybody. Oh, we're going to spring forward. We're going to give you back the hour. No, don't do that. Why did you take it away in the first place? Arizona's smart. If you live in Arizona, they don't do that stupid. They don't have that stupidity. They don't change the time 1 hour back and forward in Arizona. They're smart. So if you live in Arizona, I mean, there's some people watch us from Arizona. You guys are smart. You don't mess with the time. But I can't stand it when the clock goes back an hour. Especially now for Karina, she loses an hour's sleep for work. Anyway, it is what it is. Larry Piercy says, you got it. There you go. We're here to help you. We want to get you your green cards and your K-1 visas. But your ultimate goal is to become a U.S. citizen, right? Once you become a U.S. citizen, then you don't have to worry about any more paperwork with immigration. All you got to do is stay out of trouble, so you don't get denaturalized. Because if you become an American citizen and you screw up and you become a criminal, then you can be denaturalized. So you don't want that to happen, right? It's not good. There are some people there are two people right now in our government that I think should be denaturalized and lose their U.S. citizenship. There's two people. One is a guy running for a mayor of New York City, and the other is a member of Congress in Minnesota. Those two people need to be denaturalized and deported because they're not pro-American. They hate this country. They're communists. They don't love this country. They hate this country. Okay? Those two people need to be removed from this country. So that's just my opinion. Okay? But if you become an American, then live up to the standards of being an American. Follow the law, respect the country, respect the borders, respect the flag, respect our country, respect the government as much as you can. Angel Mercia, May Hod. Angel. Now listen, is that Klingon speak right there? Have you been watching a bunch of Star Trek? Because it's that May Hod. Is that like Klingon? Because I don't know what May Hod is. It's the computer. Maybe retype it. Hopefully it's not. You got a great question for me regarding K1 visas and green cards. Now, Chris was texting me. He's a member of this channel. He's from Mississippi. He was texting me, and he texted me this morning or yesterday, late last night. He said, I've got good news and I got bad news. What do you want to hear? So I responded in the text message, did you get approved at the green card interview? And he didn't reply back. So apparently I'm not only learning to speak Klingon, but I'm also Nostradamus, so I can read people's minds. Angel Mercia, may God bless the United States of America. There you go. So that's going to be an apple cider Mountain Dew without any Mountain Dew salute. This is apple cider vinegar. Woof! It's strong stuff, but it's getting rid of the body fat off my gut. Angel Mercia, no problem. Sorry about that, Diego. We're good. This country, the United States, is got, once you get your green card, you have a key to an opportunity beyond that you can imagine. Okay? You have an opportunity here that you can hardly imagine. You could start a business like Karina. She started the Karina Ross Coffee Company. And everything's all in place now. Just waiting on the coffee, right? Yes. Everything's in place. All the legal paperwork's been filed. Everything's done. And we have an appointment next week with our website folks. We're going to look at website designers. So we got an appointment. We're going to go drive down to the beach and talk to this lady about websites. See what she has to say. So this is, who could imagine? Karina was in Venezuela, in the mountains of Venezuela one day. Then she's in Colombia, the manager of ice cream stores. Now she's in the United States, the president of her own coffee company. Only in America. Angel Mercer, you're funny. Larry Piercy, Chris never said if he got approved. Larry, Chris sent me a text message to the cell phone late last night. I got it this morning, 5 o'clock this morning. He said, I got good news and I got bad news. Do you want the good news or the bad news first? And I said, did you pass the interview? And I never got a word back. So who knows? MB, good evening, Diego and Karina. Love your t-shirts. Hey, like the t-shirts. There you go. We got all kinds of stuff. We're gonna get coffee mugs, keychains, shot glasses for coffee. You know those little the Italian coffee that's real strong, but in Colombian style. Because we're only going to be selling Colombian coffee. It's going to be Supremo Colombian coffee. That's all we're going to be selling. Nothing yet. We're not going to be selling that second shelf stuff. Okay, it's going to be the best. And the coffee that we're selling comes from Medellin, Colombia, in the mountains of Medellin, about 3,000 feet up above sea level, which is the best height to be at to grow coffee beans. Strange, says Larry. Chris Stout, Larry, get some coffee from Karina. Larry doesn't drink coffee. I mean, I'll mail him a free bag of coffee. If you are a member of this, if you've been a member of this channel for 4 months or longer, continually, if you text Karina your address, tell her if you want roasted or beans, and we will mail you a free bag of coffee from her company. Only for members only. If you, Larry Piercy, I only drink whiskey. No, you don't, Larry. You drink water and Thai tea and Thai coffee. We had some Thai coffee. We ate at a Thai restaurant in Fort Walton Beach, and my friend's wife owns the restaurant, and Karina tried some coffee that was cold, but it was Thai coffee, right? But it was freer. But she loved it. Yeah, I know you're kidding, Larry. It's all good. How's the microphone working out? Is it doing okay? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's doing okay. What about the light? I got lights here. I got lights over there. I got a new camera, new microphone. What else can I do? I'm trying to make it as best as I can for you guys. And Karina's pointing at the microphone. What are you pointing at? What is it? I don't know.
No.
She said there's a mark on there, so I licked it. Ooh. Anyway, spot on. The K-1 visa process is speeding up. Why is that? Because immigration is focusing on you guys who are doing this the right way, paying the visa fees, waiting the time, getting the police certificates, going to the visa interviews, going to the adjudication process, getting the medical exams. You're doing it the right way, the way the Congress of the United States created in the 1970s how to get a K-1 visa. It was the Congress in the 1970s that created the K-1 visa, okay? Why was that? Well, Vietnam veterans who were stationed in Vietnam were meeting Vietnamese ladies, and they wanted to marry them or bring them to the United States and get married, but they couldn't get a way to do it. There's no, the immigration process was just like a clogged up sink. It didn't work. So all these Vietnam veterans were writing to their Congress and said, look, y'all need to get your act together. I've been dating this girl from Vietnam for a couple of years. I want to get married and bring her to the United States. So the Congress of the United States listened to all these Vietnam veterans, and veterans have a big voice in our government. And so the Congress created the K-1 visa. I think it was in 1971, 72, somewhere in there. So the Congress created the K-1 visa, which made it possible for American GIs to bring their prometidas over to the United States from Vietnam and get married and get them green cards. That's how the process started. So if you are in possession of a K-1 visa or a green card, like Karina is in possession of a green card, if you're a Vietnam veteran, thank you for your service. Welcome back home, by the way. And thank you for putting the pressure on the government back in the day when the government wasn't listening. But then they started to listen. Now you guys can get your green cards and your K-1 visas. And Larry Piercy says, Chris never said if he got approved. We're all ears. I mean, he texts me good news and bad news. And I said, well, just tell me if you got the freaking green card and if you passed or not. I don't need to go through like a scenario. It's you either got it or you didn't, right? You turn the light on, there's the light. You turn the light off, the room's dark. Which is it? But if he listened to me, I'm sure he got the green card approved without any problems. Okay? I don't see any problems with his application. So maybe there was a paperwork issue or something cropped up he had to deal with. I don't know. But hopefully it worked out. But if you send me a text message and I respond, then answer my text and let me know. Because I mean, I'm not Nostradamus. Even though Nostradamus was around 500 years ago and he was making all these predictions, that ain't me. I just give you facts about green cards and K1 visas. I will tell you, yes, you're going to qualify, or no, you're not. Yes, you're going to pass, no, you're not. This is the channel to be on. You know, I'm amazed so few people watch it. I am amazed that very few people watch this channel, considering the information that I put out there. Larry Piercy, Diego, he was going there for a bite. No, he went. You cannot screw up biometrics, not the interview. They do not do that. No, right? Larry Piercy, they do the green card interviews in New Orleans on the 18th floor. They do the biometrics, I think it's on the 9th or 8th floor. Yes, they do green card interviews in New Orleans. They do green card interviews in Montgomery, Alabama. If we have to go to a 10-year green card interview, we're probably going to have to go to Alabama. Did he not have to go to Oklahoma? Why would somebody who lives in Mississippi go to Oklahoma for a green card interview? If you live in Oklahoma, absolutely. No, he's not going to go to. Why would he go to Oklahoma for a green card interview when he lives in Mississippi? He had to go to New Orleans. We're still waiting on the outcome. So, in what I think, from my experience, my 12 years of doing this, I think he got the green card approved, but he's probably got to get a paperwork issue taken care of. Well, I thought it was biometrics also, but he was very confusing in his information here. First, he tells me it's biometrics. Then he thinks it's the green card interview. It's like, who knows? But whatever it was, we hope he passed it. Well, for his wife anyway. You know. So, but Mississippi, I think there was some problems in Mississippi. Yesterday, there was something happening in Mississippi. I don't know. So anyway, but also, we want to congratulate the folks watching us in Venezuela. We want to congratulate Maria Corina Mercado. Maria Corina Machado. She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I understand President Trump was in the running for the Nobel Peace Prize, but listen, you know, President Trump has done a fantastic job in keeping the world in order, basically. And he is just as deserving as Maria. But Maria put her life on the line in Venezuela. When Maduro, the dictator, started rounding up and arresting those people that didn't support him and throwing them in jail, Maria didn't run from Venezuela like a coward. She stayed in Venezuela and continued the battle for freedom in that country, Corina's former country. So, you know, I'm not political at all. I just go with the flow. But President Trump, your turn is going to be probably next year. But this time around, we are very happy. We're very glad to see that Maria Corina Mercado won the Nobel Peace Prize. She is absolutely deserving of that. She put her life on the freaking line. She didn't run from Venezuela. She stayed put in, and she is still fighting that Maduro communist dictator politically. And now what we need is for Trump to do what he does best, and that's to do what we need him to do, and that's to liberate Venezuela from that communist dictator bus driver in a peaceful way. It's got to be peaceful. You don't want to be bombing Venezuela. But there should be enough pressure put on Maduro that he wants to leave and restore the Republic of Venezuela to what it's supposed to be. Venezuela is a republic. But right now it's a communist dictatorship with Maduro and his narco henchmen. Well, how about that? My man Trump likes loud noises. Yeah, I was in the United States Navy for 20 years, and I like loud noises too. But there's a specific way that you liberate a country And I'm pretty sure President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are working very diligently behind the scenes to liberate Venezuela very soon from that dictator. It's just a matter of time. Maduro's got to go. And then when the country is back as a republic, then the U.S. Embassy in Caracas can reopen. Then Venezuelans who are engaged to Americans can go to their K-1 visa interviews at the embassy in Caracas, not in Bogota, Colombia. Right? There's lots of people, there's lots of young ladies in Venezuela and gentlemen engaged to Americans, and they may not have the resources to go to Bogota, Colombia every freaking week to do stuff, medical exams, interviews. So they're kind of stuck in Venezuela. So once the country's free, then the embassy reopens and boom, there you go. Karina, her family will be relieved. They no longer have the boot of a dictator on the back of their heads. Karina left Venezuela in 2018 because she didn't want to live under communism. She got the hell out of there. She gave her house to her mom, right? She said, hey, Mom, here's the keys to my house. I'm going to Colombia. I'm not living in Venezuela. And I'm glad she did that because that's where we met each other and dated each other for 3 years in Colombia. So it worked out. It worked out great for me. It worked out great for Karina. She was running all these ice cream stores in Bogota with her tax accounting degree. Now she's running stuff here in Florida at the job she works at. She got promoted. So she's got people working for her. And she started her own coffee company. Only in America. But you got to have a green card to do this stuff. So those folks that come here illegally, if you come to this country illegally while Trump is in the White House, you are going to be rounded up and deported and never be given an opportunity to come back. You'll be blocked for life. So if you are watching this and you're an illegal immigrant, I would recommend you self-deport. Okay, go back home. And if you want to come to the United States, Trump will welcome you. We Americans welcome you, but you got to do it the right way. You got to do it by the book. You got to follow the rules. You know, I was watching a YouTube channel about immigration in Australia. If you are an illegal immigrant in Australia, you're going to be going to jail and then deported. If you are an illegal immigrant in the Philippines, you go to jail, then deported. The same for Colombia. Every country in the world has an immigration process where if you want to live there, you got to follow due process. Like I lived in Colombia legally for 3 years. Most of it was on tourist visas, but 11 months of it was on a Colombian retirement visa. I had to get my fingerprints taken. I had to go in the interview in Bogota. Karina and I went down to Bogota. She couldn't come in with me. She had to wait outside. So I had to go in by myself and do the interview with the Colombian immigration, get the biometrics done, do the interview, get my passport investigated to make sure it wasn't a bogus passport and everything. And then 2 weeks later, I had my Colombian visa. So I had, and it cost me $75, I think it was. I can't remember exactly how much. So these people trying to sneak into this country illegally and then crying the victim card. Whee! Victim card, playing the victim. No, get your ass out of here. Go home. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, some people may have a differing opinion. Some people, primarily Democrats, they believe it's okay for people to sneak into this country illegally and drain the taxpayers of their hard-earned cash. Chris Stout, January 20th, 2025. If the civil surgeon signs your form on or before July 2nd, 2025, you must use form dated 3/9/2023. If the civil surgeon signs your form July 3rd, 2025 or later, USCIS will accept only the January 20th, 2025 edition. Right? it's the responsibility of the civil surgeon to use the right freaking form when they fill it out for the beneficiary. So they received it on March 24th, and it expired on March 31st. So if your form was received on March 24th and it expired on March 31st, and it was approved on March 24th, then you're good. There shouldn't be an issue. Unless you got some immigration officer who's off his meds and cannot count, or just wants to be a you-know-what. So did something happen with your 693 form? Was there an issue with it? It's the civil surgeon's responsibility to make sure that they use the correct edition date. So what happened? I mean, like I said, I'm not able to read minds. So tell us what happened. Did you get hit with an expired form? I was fighting with her about issues. It was at fault. You were fighting with who about issues, and who was at fault? Who were you fighting about? I couldn't get a straight answer with her. Who is her? Are you talking, the interviewer? Okay. But you're never going to win a fight with an immigration officer. You're never going to win a fight with an immigration officer. You never will. I don't care if you're right or wrong, you're not going to win. But what you do is you address the issue without fighting with her. You got to keep a cool head. You got to keep calm and say, look, this is what happened. Here's the form. Here's the issue date. Where's the problem? You just can't fight with these people. You can't get into arguments with them. Because if you get into an argument with an immigration attorney, you're going to lose, even if you're right. But I'm drinking this apple cider vinegar Mountain Dew Salutes for you, Chris. You said we was trying to find out who made the mistake. Well, did you figure it out? You figured it out, right? You were correct. The form was good when you submitted it. If you submit a K-1 visa form, I-129F, and it expires 5 months into the process, your K-1 visa application is still good. Okay? Because it expired after you submitted the form and it was already date stamped at USCIS at the service center. But if you submit a form I-129F, which is expired, your whole K-1 visa package is going to be either denied, and it's going to definitely be sent back. And you got to redo everything. Maybe they'll cash your check, maybe they won't. If you submit a 2-year green card application and the form 485 expires 3 months later after you've submitted it, it's okay. You're still good. You're good. Because it expired 3 months or 2 months or 1 month after you submitted it. But now we're talking about a couple of days right now. You're down to 3 or 4 days difference. So the immigration officer was just not paying close enough attention. But you got to explain it to him very nicely. So what was the outcome, Chris? Chris, what's the outcome? Did the immigration officer accept the expired form because you submitted it before it was expired, even though it was 5 days difference of time or whatever it was? Yeah, you had a little bit of a leeway. Wasn't much time difference between the two. So hopefully they accepted the form and everything worked out. Alameu Mekonen. Approved fiance petition this week. Remember me? Yes, I remember. I asked for advice from you. Thank you. Applied in February 19, 2025. Approved October 7th, 2025. What do you advise next? What do you expect? Here's what happens, Alameu. You got your K-1 visa approved, so you should have received an NOA-2 letter. Notice of Action 2, Form I-797. You should have received an NOA-2 letter which says your visa was approved. Make 5 or 6 copies of the NOA-2 letter. On the NOA2 letter is your beneficiary's alien registration number by the name. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the USCIS Service Center, whether it's in Nebraska, Texas, California. Where did yours go? Probably California. What you're going to do now is wait for the California Service Center to mail your approved K-1 visa to the National Visa Center in New Hampshire. The National Visa Center, right, California, I'm never wrong, guys. The National Visa Center will get it in about 2 to 3 months, and then they will go through your K-1 visa application to make sure there's no mistakes that they didn't catch at the service center in California. The National Visa Center looks at it. If they find any mistakes in the visa application, they send it back to the service center in California. If they don't find any mistakes in the visa application, they will then wait for the embassy to get unbusy and then mail it through a diplomatic pouch using a DHL airplane, which is contracted with the U.S. government, to the embassy or the consulate in the country where your beneficiary lives. I'm trying to remember what country were we talking about. Were we talking about a country in Africa, Alamehu? Does your fiance live in a country in Africa? So in Ethiopia, okay. So right now, what's going to happen is the USCIS Service Center in California will send it to the National Visa Center, which takes 2 or 3 months, maybe 2 months. So be patient. The National Visa Center in New Hampshire will get it. They'll review it. Any mistakes, they send it back to the service center. No mistakes. They will contact the embassy in Ethiopia, the consulate there. And if the consulate accepts K-1 visas at that time, the National Visa Center will ship it to the embassy in Ethiopia. Addis Ababa, I believe it is. Is it? Look at that big sore on my. Look at that. Man, look at that. Tell you, I don't know. That's like I kind of I bit myself eating something I shouldn't be, I guess. Eating ice cream. I don't know. So then Addis Ababa will get your K-1 visa approval. Then they will send you an email from Ethiopia. The U.S. Embassy there will send you an email, packet 3, packet 4, with directions on what you have to do now. Next, pay the consular fee, schedule the visa interview, and the biometrics. Yes, it's Addis Ababa. Hey, I'm good, right? I got all these. I've learned. I should be a geography teacher. Chris Stout, interviewer, asked me questions on how we meet each other. Well, yeah. That's the first question out of the bat. And she's going to discuss the paperwork with her boss. Well, you didn't do anything wrong, so what is there really to discuss? You filed the correct paperwork, and it was not expired when you submitted it. Alamehu, do I schedule the interview or they schedule it after I pay? Once you've paid for the visa interview, you can pay the visa interview. There's several ways you can do it. You can pay online with your credit card in US Travel Docs. Let me type in the website. You're going to get this information from the embassy anyway. But you go into US Travel Docs, and what I would do is go in there now or in the next few days, ustraveldocs.gov, and just explore that website and learn about it, because you're going to be using that to schedule the visa interview in Addis Ababa. Okay, so you pay the consular fee. I think it's $265. I think it is something like that. And then when you pay the fee, you can use your credit card. What happens? It will open up a calendar for you on the US Travel Docs, US Embassy Addis Ababa website, and you go and look for a calendar the day that's open and schedule the visa interview. Okay. You need to send to your beneficiary in Ethiopia, email her a copy of the NOA2 letter, the I-797. Get it emailed in a PDF, send it to her or him, and then they can print it off the computer, off the printer. Okay? you're going to have to get your beneficiary, Alamehu, an original signed Form I-134, which is the Declaration of Financial Support. Okay? You're going to have to get an I-134 filled out and signed. Your beneficiary is going to need the original I-134. You're going to need your tax transcripts. Okay? I can't even spell. Transcripts. Right here. You're going to need pay stubs. Bank statements. Etc., etc. Copy of your passport biographic page. Right here. I'm writing it out for you. Cut in color. Whenever you submit a biographic page of your beneficiary's green card or passport or your passport, you gotta make the copy in color. Okay? If you're going through a spousal visa, going through the I-130 process, and you have to upload documents to the National Visa Center, passports have to be in color. Documents that are in color have to be in color. Your driver's license has to be in color, etc., etc. Chris Stout, that was correct. Yeah, you submitted the paperwork. It wasn't expired. She will speak to the boss about the addition date and expired form, but we submitted it 6 days before it expired. So you did everything correctly. But the new form came out 3 months after from the date expired. So, but this is a 693. Didn't the civil surgeon pay attention to this? But maybe the civil surgeon didn't realize that the form changed either. Bud Garcia, we got our green card today. It took 8 days. Bud Garcia. Here we go. This is a apple cider Mountain Dew Salute. And it came from Corbin, Kentucky, right, Bud? Alamejo, thanks a lot. Is I-864 needed? 99% of all embassies around the world and consulates don't require 864s. That's for the green card application. Right now, you are applying for a non-immigrant visa to travel, for your beneficiary to travel to the United States. A non-immigrant visa requires an I-134, which is a declaration of financial support. When you get to the United States of America, then you, the U.S. citizen, will file the affidavit of support, which is the I-864. There's a big difference because when you're at the embassy interview, you're not getting an immigrant visa, you're getting a non-immigrant visa. The K-1 is a non-immigrant visa that is a temporary visa to give you one way into the United States. So you're at the embassy, you got the I-134. Your income has to be 100% or above of the minimum income for a non-immigrant visa. Your beneficiary gets to the United States. Now you're going to be filing changes. But what I would do if I was you, Alameju, is fill out the I-864 and have her, and bring it to her, or FedEx it to her, or DHL it, plus the I-134. Send both forms. Then that way you got both bases covered, right? Larry Piercy, that is on the same mark, bud. Chris Stout, we had 3 binders of paperwork. But the 797C form says to bring the interviewer. We had to show her on the form like taxes and documents. Yeah, that's normal. But the interviewer told us wasn't allowed to see it. You have an interviewer, okay, who is a yellow M&M short of a packet of M&Ms, just to be honest with you. Apparently, your immigration interviewer must have been a green pea, which means the person's totally new. There's a brand new person, maybe just got trained. Who knows? Alamejo Mikonen. All right, will do. Thanks. You're welcome. So you understand what's going to happen now, right? Alamejo? You're going to wait a couple of months for your K1 visa application to get sent to the National Visa Center. Then you're going to wait for the U.S. Embassy in Addis Ababa to start receiving K1 visa applications from the NVC. The NVC will then ship your K1 visa application to Addis Ababa in a diplomatic pouch on a DHL flight out of New Hampshire, which could take a couple of weeks to get there. Then you're going to wait for the embassy to contact you with an email to tell you they received it, etc. Cristal, the lady was half asleep. She was Mexican. Senora is dormia in cita. So you had a young lady who was Mexican who was falling asleep in the middle of an immigration interview. Maybe that information needs to be passed along to her freaking boss. And then that way you can get your stuff done properly without having to deal with that. That's unprofessional, right? Come on, guys. Throw me some questions. Give me some questions. We've answered a lot. I've helped right here. I just helped Alamehu. You forgot the lady's name. Well, I'm not surprised you forgot her name. She was taking a nap through half the interview. I mean, you know, seriously. There was one person who got his green card issued to him, and it was a year in the future. And then he got a letter saying that he has only got 30 days to apply for his 10-year green card. And he's like, wait a second. I've only been in the United States for freaking 5 months. Immigration make mistakes all the time. And then there was the colonel, his stepdaughter's, her green card showed up with the wrong name on it. The name was all messed up. And then he wanted me to help him process the I-90 and everything. And I said, well, the easiest way to do that is to sign up as a member, and then it's $9.99 as a member. Then you get my phone number. Then I can do the I-90 for you. But you know, as soon as I mentioned join as a member, it disappeared. I guess that $9.99 is going to bankrupt him. I'm just kidding, by the way. Alamehu Mekonnen, does my fiance need to take the same letter of intent to marry? Yes. Yes, and other witness letters. Yes. New letters. No, you got to write new ones. You have to let's talk about letters of intent to get married. Both of you, Karina wrote a letter of intent to get married in Spanish to marry me. I wrote her a letter of intent to get married to marry her. And in the letters of intent, Karina wrote hers in Spanish because she doesn't speak English, so she had to write it in Spanish. When you write your letters of intent to get married, if you don't speak English, you got to write it in your language of your country. Why can't my sponsor write the letter in English for me and I just sign it? Because you don't speak English. And when you go to the visa interview and the immigration officer says, okay, we're going to conduct the interview in English, and the person says, well, I don't speak English. Well, you wrote your letter of intent to get married in English. See what I'm saying? If you don't speak English, write your letter of intent to get married in the language that you do speak: Greek, Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, French, German. I don't care what the country is. Get it translated into English and put the letters, and then you're going to have a letter of intent. Like Karina had a letter of intent to get married. She wrote it. She signed it. Then we were in Bogota, Colombia. We got it notarized by a notary in Bogota. You don't have to do that, but we did it. And we got it. And then I got it translated into English. So when I filed for the K1 visa, I flew back to the United States with all this paperwork, the letters of intent to get married, and all the evidence and everything of being together. When we filed the letters of intent to get married, it was in English, Spanish, with a translation certification, and then there was mine in English. And then 2 weeks before Karina's scary visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, I wrote another letter of intent to get married in Bogota. Karina wrote another letter of intent to get married in Spanish, and we didn't translate it this time because when you go to visa interviews in Bogota, Colombia, all documents in Spanish don't have to be translated. You can just bring them in Spanish. So what goes in a letter of intent to get married? There are 3 things that must go in the letter of intent to get married. This is mandatory. Number 1, you're going to say, I am an American citizen, or I am a Venezuelan citizen. Number 2, you're going to say, I am legally free and able to get married to my sponsor or my beneficiary. Number 3, you're going to say that you promise the U.S. government that you will get married within 90 days upon arriving in the United States on your K-1 visa. So let's go over those 3 things one more time so that you're paying attention, class. You're getting ready to write letters of intent to get married for your K-1 visa and for your visa interview. You're going to include in the letters of intent to get married, I'm a U.S. citizen or I'm a Venezuelan citizen. I am legally free and able to get married in Spanish and English. Karina promised to marry me within the 90 days of her arrival in America. Those 3 statements must be in your letters of intent to get married. The sponsor and the beneficiary. If you are watching us from Bogota, Colombia, when you go to your K-1 visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, or your spousal interview, you don't have to translate any documents into English. But when you apply for the green card in the United States of America, then you must include a translated copy of your beneficiary's birth certificate. Okay? You got it. Alameyu. And you're going to change out the letters of intent. You're going to say stuff, like things change. When I filed the second letter of intent to get married, we had been on vacation to Chawachi, Cartagena, we'd been to Cucuta. So I included it in the letter of intent to get married. Well, we went on vacation over here. We went to Chawachi. This was different from the first letter of intent to get married when we hadn't done that stuff. So whatever you do between the first letter of intent to get married and the second letter of intent to get married, you're going to include it in the second letter. Immigration still want to see that you guys didn't get married to each other. You're still legally free and able to marry each other. You're still in love with each other. You still want to do this. That's the reason. And it's a legal document. Once you sign it, it's a legal document. So the question is from Alameyu, does my fiance need to take the same letter? No, she needs to write a new letter of intent to get married with updated information. You can copy the first letter, but update it with more stuff. The other witnesses' letters, you don't have to get new ones of those. They're fine. Chris Stout, she asked, do you know what Adam skirts? What is Adam skirts? I have no idea what Adam skirts is. And you said we were like, what? Yeah, what is that? Chris Stout, the interview time was 9:45. We didn't even get called till 10:45. She was late. Well, she was taking a siesta, apparently. The young lady from Mexico, who was your interviewer, was taking a nap. But that'd be great if we got a lady from Mexico to interview Karina for her 10-year green card interview, because they can talk back and forth in Spanish. Wouldn't that be cool? It'd be much easier. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. Karina's tired. She's been working all day. And here we are doing the live stream for you guys. We hope you learned something new today. We want to welcome the new member to our channel. Welcome to the new member. He didn't make any comments today, but he may have been watching. And welcome aboard. If you're a member of the channel, you get my phone number, cell number, email. You can call me, text me whenever you want. If you have an emergency with your immigration status, you can text me, call me, and email me right then, and I will handle it for you. But it's not legal advice. But I'm not an immigration attorney. But I know more. I know just as much, if not more, than some of these immigration attorneys. I mean, if you have to hire an immigration attorney to do this, then you got laziness issues. Seriously, because it's not difficult to do. We will see you at the next live stream. Enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow, there's no Francois tonight. She's probably busy with Hammond. Tomorrow is Sunday, right? Today is October 11th, 2025. And I'll see you guys on Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time. So while Karina's at work tomorrow, I'll make a video. I just uploaded 3 videos of when we were in Colombia for Karina's coffee stuff. Alamehu Mekonen, thank you so much for all the great tips. You're welcome. No problem. Chris Stout, we will call you soon. Just enjoy your dinner. I think they will pass it on the form. You're good. The form was issued. You submitted the form correctly. Immigration are wrong for giving you this freaking headache. Okay? But that's what immigration are good at. Giving immigration, they give you headaches, right? See you guys on Monday. Yeah, she was confused. You woke her up from her nap. That's why she was confused. She was in her siesta, and she had to figure out where the heck she was.